It's the Retro Philosophy Show. Go on and tell everybody you know. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Lottie Dottie, and I'm in the building hanging out with Retro. Keep it locked, and don't you dare touch that dial.
Hey, I'm about to have a good day, no matter what they say. Sun is shining down on me, birds are singing praise. I'm about to have a good day, in every single way. The God who made the universe knows me by my name, so it's a good day.
Y'all make sure y'all check out the Retro Philosophy Show on YouTube with my man Retro. Like, subscribe, comment, share, copy the link, put it on Instagram in your bio, put it on your Facebook page. Send it to your mama, text it to somebody. But y'all make sure y'all follow this page, Retro Philosophy.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your man Kodak, the most hated, coming to you live from the Retro Philosophy Show, where I always listen to my man, 50 Grand, Pastor Retro. You know what it is.
We have a community that we have to take care of. We have kids that are depending on us. I call them my scholars, I call them my future leaders, because that's what they are. And I let them know, don't forget about where you were raised, be proud of where you come from, and give back. It seems more family in Riverview Gardens. It would just be wonderful to get some people to get some of those jobs and help us get these scholars where they need to be. There's a new view on the horizon where learning is required.
Hey, I'm about to have a good day, no matter what they say. Sun is shining down on me, birds are singing praise. I'm about to have a good day, in every single way. The God.
Yo, what up? This is Marvin Gibson, aka Big Gip, and you are now tuned in to the Retro Philosophy Show.
Let's go. It's the Retro Philosophy Show. You know, let's go.
What's up, everybody? This is your man Pablo Frescobar on the Retro Philosophy Podcast, talking about my newly published book, Courage Unveiled, Navigating the Battlefield Within.
You already know what it is. It's your homegirl, Lottie Dottie. I'm in the building hanging out with Retro, and he ain't never lying.
Yo, what's up, everybody, including Lottie Dottie? It's your boy Retro with you on today. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and I will be glad in it. Look at here, man. We got an interesting show for you today. We made a post on yesterday, and it kind of I don't know if I should say it struck a nerve. It might have hit a soft spot. I just want to start out by saying, number one, it wasn't said to be offensive. Um, so sorry, but not sorry. And again, it wasn't meant to be offensive. It wasn't mean to be condescending. It wasn't meant to be judgmental. But I do believe that it is, excuse me, that it is an issue. Come on, somebody. And issues become problems when they are not confronted, addressed, or just handled. And when I say that, I mean that so humbly. Um, it caused a spinoff of other. Post or whatever you want to call it that I did. Number one, why is it that when we, and when I say we, I'm talking people in general, um, require accountability, that we are labeled as being, messy, as being judgmental, as being self-righteous, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I guess I should start out by saying this. If cussing is your issue, then I mean, it is what it is. Guess what? I've got some issues too. It just so happens that today I'm talking about cussing. All right. We'll talk about some of the other issues that may fall, in someone else's front yard on another day. Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Good morning. I'm trying to keep pressing forward. You do the same. Keep pressing forward. I love you. We love you too, Marisol. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie. Let's make some noise for Marisol Young on this morning. Forever young. He will forever be young because he's Marisol Young. You see what I did there, guys? See what I did there? C1s, good morning, sir. God bless you. Thank you for joining the show. Let's see here. Whoa, excuse me. Telephone number, you guys already know what it is, 980-222-4492. We would love for you guys to chime in. And if on last night we had an excellent show, shout out to Moby Gibson. Had an excellent show with him. I mean, we went double the time, but it was good. I could have went a whole nother hour, real talk. Um, and we had Mr. GQ. He chimed in. We was kind of talking about something that struck his interest. So he came on the show last night. So if anyone is watching today and this subject is near and dear to your heart for whatever reason, then we welcome you to either send me a message or just comment in the comment section, and we'll send you the link so that you can join the conversation on this morning as well. So again, we are talking about cussing Christians, and again, we all have issues, and this is not to point the finger at you per se. If you are a cussing Christian, there are a lot of us that struggle with different things, and I do want to say this. I feel a need to say this, and in no shape, form, nor fashion will we try to sugarcoat whatever your sin, struggle, or issue is, because again, we all have them. Okay, self included. So let's just get that understood. Okay. Um, but ladies and gentlemen, we do have to understand uh, that uh, we are going to be held accountable. The Bible even says we have to give an account for every idle word. Okay. Um, let's see here. Where do I start? Wow, I'm almost speechless on this morning, so I'm gonna need y'all's help on today. Okay, so make sure you hit up the comment section down there. So there is a difference between what you struggle with and what you deal with from day to day versus what you parade publicly. Okay, so I guess there are private struggles and then public display. What you do in the privacy of your own home is what you do in the privacy of your own home. And you will not necessarily be held, I don't want to say held accountable. I want to be very careful here because people are soundbite. You take your words and twist them. But what I am saying, okay, let me just say it this way. If I'm a cussing Christian and I cuss at home, that's one thing. But when I get on live and I'm cussing, I get at church and I'm cussing. I'm on the job and I'm cussing. That's a whole nother scenario, because now you are promoting and parading what you should be trying to fix. And maybe there are some watching today that said, "Well, ain't nothing wrong with cussing." I got one comment that was a good comment, and the question was, "When did these words become so taboo?" You know, when did these words become so taboo? And I think that's a great question, worthy of discussion. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, you see the telephone number scrolling at the bottom of your screen. We would love for you to tap in and share your opinion on some of this here discussion. Now, yeah, I saw some things on yesterday, and so I know that it's you know, it's a topic. And I'll be honest with you, it's one thing for you, because another post that I posted was, should preachers and ministers and pastors be held to a higher standard? And ultimately, I believe the consensus was yes. You know, I happen to believe that they should. Now, that doesn't mean that they're perfect, because we already know no one is perfect. But if you are a leader, if you are in a leadership position, especially a spiritual leadership position, you are, whether you like it or not, going to be held to a higher level of accountability, a higher standard, at least expected to do a little bit better, at least to make the effort to do a little bit better. That's just my humble opinion. Okay. I got a few video clips that I want to share with you on this morning. And so let's go ahead and get started, and then we'll go ahead and make it do what it do. And we'll start with this one here. Okay.
Fuck yeah. All right, tonight we are talking about the etymology of curse words. If you are easily offended or faint of heart, you should probably get the fuck out right now. Doors back that way. Just kidding.
Okay, so first order of business, okay? If you are easily offended, yeah, you might want to, exit left, exit right, or whatever. But in all seriousness, whoa, what we got going on here, Retro? Bada boom, bada bang. Um, so, what do you guys think about cursing? What do you think? Marisol Young, he says everything reach people different. Some people you can cuss to, and some people only understand cussing. But as we grow in age, our words must change. I happen to agree with such a statement, Marisol, especially in the latter part, that our words must change. As we grow, things should change. We should mature as it relates to certain things. And yeah, we should mature as it relates to certain things. And some things we outgrow. Okay. Let's take a look at another clip being based on on this comment here. Check this
So
out.
the question is not about what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong. The question is, will it work everywhere? If you keep shitting all over the place, is it going to work for you? That's a question.
So you have the curse words, and let's just say where these words originated from. Okay, originally the word fuck said fornication. What was it? What did it stand for? I can't remember what it stood for. It was fornication something. Oh, it was fornication under consent of the king. There we go. It was fornication under consent of the king. And what happened was, back during the Black Plague and all that stuff, they were under the impression that it was caused by a sexual transmitted situation. And so people were forbidden to have sex. Yeah, they had to go before a board for the most part and get approval. And once you got approval, you got to sign FUCK, fornication under consent of the king. Now, is that factual? We don't know. We don't know, but that is a myth that's going around. And so, with that said and done, we would be led to understand that there were certain words that initially, when they were initiated, were not meant to have such a negative connotation, if you will. But over time, they took on a negative connotation. I'm gonna use a very light word. It's hell. Right now, when you're a preacher, you say, "Yeah, you don't repent, you're going to hell," and the Bible says hell. And so, I believe there are words that can be used innocently, but then, if you say, "Get the H out of here," I mean, Now, are you using it for the true definition of the word, or are you using it for another meaning, if you will? You know, you got the word bitch. Ooh, retro cuss, a female dog. Okay. Now, that's what a female dog is called. And I remember I had a groomer back home. I got an Akita from my first Akita. I was stuck on pit bulls, and this gentleman, he was like, "Yo, Sheldon, pit bulls, yeah, okay, cool dog, but these Akitas, man, you got to get with these Akitas, you know." And it was interesting because he had changed his life, you know, and gotten saved and everything, and so he's talking. He kept on B, you know, he's just throwing the word out there, you know. But he was talking about the dog, so in his mind, it was used from the original definition of the word, and not the urban meaning of the word. When you call a woman that name, you are not referring to her as a female dog. She is not a dog, she is a woman. So if you use that word toward her, the original definition has just been obliviated, it's just been negated. And so now, you know, it has a, so you can't say that these words are innocent if you're using them derogatorily, if you're using them negatively, if you understand what I'm saying, folks. And so I do. You know, I have a issue with pastors and ministers and preachers that just freely cuss, especially when it's not warranted. I mean, it would almost be understanding if you was pushed to a point and them words just fell out. But in everyday conversation, you know, posting on Facebook and responding to comments and just when you could simply just use another word that would be so much more reflective of your intelligence. That's what I'm saying. And so I believe that we as Christians, and I use that word very lightly, we have to hold ourselves later for what they're holding us to. What about what we are holding ourselves to? And so, if you are a cussing Christian, in my opinion, you don't even hold yourself to a higher standard. I'm just saying, you know, and so that's where we're at on this morning. I got a couple more videos I want to say, but let's look at this comment. I always ask myself, what I say, is it pleasing to God, or a word should speak life? Yeah, death and life are in the power, excuse me, of the tongue, and I believe that we must be very, very careful with the words that we choose to use. Um, you know what? Let me check something here. Maybe that's why I'm not getting. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'm coming for you guys. Hold on. That's my problem. Hold on. There we go. There we go, folks. I said the folks is quiet on this morning, but my thing here is off. So I just made the changes. So I don't know if anyone was trying to let's see here. We got a few comments that were trying to come through. All right. Okay. There we go. They're showing up now, guys. All right. Perfect. 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 Good morning to everybody. Thank you for your patience. Let's see here. Tin Man. He says a lot of us grew up with cussing, with a cussing family in the latter years. So now most of us are doing it to get a point across. But okay, I can understand that. I can understand that. Um, uh, Royalty, how you doing, woman of God? Good morning to you. She says, "Good morning, everybody." Rodney Livingston is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to you as well, sir. Let's go back to Tin Man. Tin Man is a good dude, man. Very, very cool guy, man. Um, let me see here. I'm gonna change this real quickly. And let me see.
Bluetooth disconnected.
Okay. Bada boom, bada bang, bada boom, boom, boom. We're going to do this. Let me see here. Yes, I know this should have been done before I went live, but these comments are I think are going to be worthwhile. So instead of scrolling them, I'm gonna just put them up there just like this, so that way we can all look at them and as we discuss such a warranted topic, in my humble opinion. Okay, so a lot of us grew up with a cussing family, right? And so it has become almost, I guess we can say, embedded in us, in a sense. And still, my question then becomes, is that an excuse? And I don't believe that Tin Man is making this an excuse. I think this is just an explanation, which is good, which is good. And so let's see here. All right, so let's go to one more video. I think I think it will speak to this very comment here. Da, 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 da. Here we go.
My name is Lonnie Rosales. I have an English degree in literature at the University of Texas, and I'm a native Austinite, which is why I'm a native cusser. I got started very early.
Okay, so she said she's a native Austinian, which is why she is a native cusser. Okay, so what we could extract from this statement here is pretty much what Tin Man is saying. Okay, so it is an explanation. I don't think she's making an excuse either. I think she's just giving insight so one would have understanding. But does good explanation, does good insight, what's the word I'm looking for? Does it does it excuse us? Yeah, does it excuse us? Okay. Let's see here. William said, "Speak life and love, caution. Bada boom. The tongue has no bones but can break a heart." Ooh, my goodness, William, that's heavy on us this morning. That is heavy. Yeah, it has no bones, but it can break a heart. That's a lot right there, sir. That's a lot. Uh, no excuse for swearing. Okay, so for some, it's just it's there's no excuse for it. It's not tolerated at all. You know, and then there are others who constantly make excuses for it. So let's see what she has. Let's see what she continues to
My
say.
first cuss word, or my first word, pardon me, was caca, which, for those of you that don't know, is Spanish for shit. That was my first word. I was fluent by age 9, and my dad used to say, if we would fall down, he would say, "You know where you can find sympathy is in the dictionary between shit and syphilis." So I got started
Wow.
very early.
The crowd is laughing, but that's heavy. And at such a young age to hear such words from your father, a leader now. This is the leader of the home. And so if daddy can do it, because how many of y'all when y'all was young wanted to emulate your dad? Wanted to be like your mom, you know, the ladies anyway, you know. Um, And so those who are in the forefront, they set an example. They are the ones by which we gauge right and wrong. Okay. Now let me fix that. They are the ones by which we tolerate right or wrong. Because what I'm trying to say is even though they're doing wrong, we know right from wrong. Innately, we know right from wrong. But those who lead us are the ones who help us to massage the gray areas or to, begin to rationalize truth for that which appeases our own ego, our own laziness, our own whatever the case may be. Um, Marisol says my brother would cuss all the time in front of his children. He thought it was funny until his son went to school and cussed like a sailor. His child would do it every day. He learned real quick, and that's so true, you know. And so for a father, one who is a leader of the family or the organization, the business, whatever the case may be, to set an example that's questionable. Now I get it because there are some things that I don't believe are necessarily wrong. And the Bible even talks about it. You know, Paul, the Apostle Paul, on several occasions, he would talk and he would make it known that this is not the Lord speaking, this is me speaking. In other words, he was sharing his insight, his opinion, and his feelings on the situation or the matter. But he made a distinct difference between his feelings and his viewpoint versus God. So we've got to be very careful there, and so even if you don't think cussing is wrong, the question becomes, is it right? I don't think y'all hear me this morning. Let's see here. Let's see what let her finish up here.
Thanks, Dad. He didn't make it tonight. So what is everybody's favorite cuss word? Just yell it out. Mostly fuck. What's your favorite?
See, what is your favorite cuss word? What is your take on this? I just want us as Christians, because we've got a job to do. We've got a God to glorify and a charge to keep. It's not about, saying that, those who curse are bad people. Um, Anyone who does something bad just made a bad decision. I don't think that what you did is who you are. I don't. I don't. But I do get a little worried when you do something that's wrong. Let me say it again. When we do stuff that's wrong and we make excuses, and when I say excuses, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about in the sense of we make excuses to continue. We make excuses not to stop. We rationalize and we do so many things, and I just think that we've got to have a conversation, my dear fellow brothers and sisters, and especially, and I'm gonna be honest with you, this post it had everything to do with the pastors and the preachers and the leaders of Christian organizations. And some of you might have got offended or felt some kind of way, but I mean, as they say, a hit dog will holler. This was not meant to anyone in particular. I've seen it so much till I just wanted to speak on it. So if you think I'm zeroing you out, I'm not. I'm zeroing out or honing in on the action itself. It has nothing to do with you. Those of us who do it, we've been led to believe that it's okay because my daddy did it, my mama did it, my auntie and them did it. Everybody's doing it. And how many of us have done things because everybody else was doing it? And you're like, man, I ain't doing it because of. And then after a while, you feel left out, and you begin to, and then all of a sudden you find yourself going along too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Somebody's got to speak out. Now, again, justification. Yeah, yeah. Greetings to Freddie Cinco joining the Retro Philosophy Show on today. Justification on your part is not satisfaction on God's part. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You might justify what you done, but your justification doesn't satisfy God. I'm just saying. And that goes for me and everybody else from the pulpit to the door. Everybody, including Lottie Dottie. Yeah. And so we have to realize, man, that we've got to take ownership and what it is that we are partaking in and things of that nature. Cussing is not right. She is sad. Imagine being proud of a broad cuss vocab. William, it was said to me as I grew up, because when I was younger, I used to cuss. I mean, it was what it was when you was, 9 and 10 years old. I learned cuss words in Spanish, Chinese, and everything. I mean, Russian cuss words for real. I even learned cuss words and sign language. I don't know, and we just thought we were cool when we did it. But you know what's cool? A young man or woman that can effectively articulate their feelings. I used to tell my son all the time when he was young. I used to get him all the time. I said, "Look, son, you got to articulate how you feel. You got to talk it. You got to speak it. Because otherwise, I said, son, in life, and y'all hear me good. I need somebody to hear me. In life, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. And you can't negotiate unless you know how to articulate. And your ability to articulate is not going to be taken serious if you can't even form words worth listening to. I used to listen to the music with all the cusses in it and stuff like that. And now I'm riding and some come on, I'm just like, really? I mean, even comedy, and it's like comedians almost would make you think that if they don't curse, it won't be funny. And y'all saw the big interview that broke the internet with Cat in the Hat, right? Yeah, on the Shay Shay show. He said he's versatile. Now he do a whole lot of cussing, but he said that he started and in his starting, he would do comedy shows at churches. He said he got whole, shows that he can do without even cussing. So therefore, his cussing is literally a choice. So this is a man who's not even professing Christianity. How much more those of us who profess Christianity? I mean, this is a retro philosophy show, so you already know the side that I lean on, right? Okay. So, and again, it's not meant to be, judgmental or anything like that, but it is meant to make us all aware. Okay. Let me see here. Facebook user, good morning, and thank you for joining the Retro Philosophy Show. I don't have any, even when I was in the world, but these days it's hard, very hard not to. Um, I think the reason why it's hard not to in these days is because we're getting more and more upset, angry, and drawn into things that pull out of us things that the enemy has planted in us. Because see, you got to understand, you go out there and cut your grass, and you keep everything cut at an even level, right? But if you stop cutting your grass, before you know it, you're going to see trees growing up. And you said, when did I plant tree seeds? You didn't. They got there. And in life, you don't wake up wanting to be a cusser, but I mean, you're hearing it all the time. So seeds are planted. The eyes and the ears are the gateway to our soul. Why do you think I get up here every single Monday through Friday as much as possible and try to spew words of encouragement? Because they're seeds and eventually they will catch. Okay. And so your eyes and your ears are the gateway to your soul. And so these curse words that we find ourselves leaning on during times of frustration and anger is because those were seeds that were planted, or maybe I should say that were sown by the enemy. Okay, and I think we just have to make a conscious effort to not use them. That's my take on it. Let's see here, Freddie Seco. Never taking the time to think about it. Why are you doing it? Never taking the time to think about it. Why are you doing it? They used to say, think twice and speak once, or think twice before you speak, or whatever the case may be. Thinking is, my goodness, it's so important. It's it's a privilege. Yeah, and so we've got to do a whole lot more thinking. That takes work and to me. Yeah, that's true. Because you can sum up a conversation and let somebody know exactly how you feel with two words. You blank. But that's lazy because, I want to encourage us to become more articulate. Now, some of you might be upset about this post and about this broadcast or what have you, and I apologize that you are upset if you are. I am not sorry for speaking on this matter, but I am apologizing if it offends you or makes you feel a certain kind of way. Please understand, everything that's offensive doesn't have to offend. And what that simply means is you may think that me saying cussing Christians is not a good thing, and you might be offended. But if you are offended, it was because of your choice. It wasn't my intent. And we have to learn to stop, think, and listen, or stop, listen, think, either whichever order. Just do it. Okay. Because you will find out that the intent of the orator was never to hurt your feelings, but to either hold you accountable, or because, come on, man, we were talking last night on the interview about the way Harley Davidson treats our people, right? Um, but I made the comment, how can we expect someone else to treat us better when we ourselves won't treat each other better? So we are setting the example, and then we get mad when they follow the example that we set. Open your mouth and learn to articulate your feelings, your thoughts, your desires, whatever it may be, in an intelligent way. Because, in my opinion, this young lady said she is an English major. Okay, she's not ignorant. Well, she's not unintelligent. I'll put it that way. She's not unintelligent, but because of where she's from, because of her upbringing, she uses that as an excuse or an explanation for her choice of vocabulary. Clearly, she is able to have a conversation without cussing, but it seems as though she wants to rely on, excuses to justify it. Let's see here. Good morning, Facebook user. Thank you for joining on this morning. Oh man, William. Ladies and gentlemen, he says a woman cussing is like a gold ring in a pig's snout. Wow. Oh, wow. I've never heard that one before, but it is definitely yeah, profound. Let's say that. Yeah, that part right there. 2 Timothy 5, how to act toward others. We got to learn to act toward others. We need to learn how to act toward others. Yes, indeed. Kodak the Ground Pounder, ladies and gentlemen, is in the building. You already know what it is. And if you don't, you better ask somebody. Good morning, sir. Let's not say any more cuss words this Saturday. Yeah. Some folk gonna be cussing this Saturday, Kodak. You know why? Because they coming for this. They coming for this right here, and they're gonna walk away empty-handed because your boy Retro gonna bring it back. So you guys can be mad all you want, you can cuss me out all you want to, but you're going home empty-handed. You hear me? Doggone it, dag doofus, whatever. And that was another statement that was made, another question that was posed as well. What's the difference between words that we use in place of curse words? There are so many ways to express oneself without cussing. I completely agree, and I think we should challenge ourselves to do so. Okay, I think we should challenge ourselves to do so. Find other ways of expressing how we feel without the cussing. Articulation allows people to communicate on a higher level than cuss words. That part right there. Yeah, we've got to become fluent in our articulation versus our lazy vocabulary. And now check it out. When you with your boys, you talk one way. When you're on the job, you talk another way. For the most part. And so it is what it is. But I just think we need to hold ourselves to a higher level. Let's see here. Words of encouragement. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They go a long way. They go a long way. Freddie Cinco, he says, I learned how to curse in the military, but working on cutting that out. I could see that. I could see that. So again, it goes back to even what the young lady said. She heard her father cursing all the time. And so it was, I remember growing up, Raul, I don't know if you're watching. I grew up with him in the alley. And when we were down on Central Street. And, he's a Spanish dude, Puerto Rican, and I never forget, man. He be talking to his mother and it be cussing. Do huh? I mean, and they going back and forth cussing each other and everything. I mean, using big old cuss words. And I'm like, whoa. But in their I can't speak for their culture. I'm leaning on that, but I'll just keep it to his family. It was nothing out of the ordinary. So curse words weren't looked at as being, foul or anything like that. And the more I hung around him, the more I thought I could do it. And I remember one time, man, I got mad at my mother. Now, I was literally in the car getting ready to leave with my brother, my big brother, and my big cousin. Shout out to Joe and JL. And JL had this nice little Malibu and booming system. So I'm getting ready to hang out with my big brother, my big cuz, and I never forget, man. I was getting in the car, and I cussed my mother. I was mad at her about something. Something was going on. And I cussed her. Now I didn't even say it loud. I mean, I just barely said it. Whispered it over my voice. And before I know it, I felt a force literally pulling me out of the vehicle. I just said the word, and she was up on the porch, guys. I'm no exaggeration. I think my mother levitated and just transported to the back seat of that car, and she snatched me out of that car. I didn't cuss at her. I didn't cuss to her face. What's my point? My point is, depending on where you come from, that ain't happening. And so I learned real quick, boy, you better learn how to whisper a whole lot better, because she heard it and she gave me the business. Yeah, she gave me the business. I only agree that concept if we are actually guilty of it. Just because some black man in Chicago is disrespectful doesn't give any random white man the excuse to be disrespectful. Absolutely, absolutely. I agree with that, Chinko. Absolutely, man. I agree 100%, man. We need to learn how to reject the words that will turn our happiness to anger and resentment. Because you see, words, man, are very powerful. And Facebook users. So thank you for that comment. And I agree 100%. Words are very powerful, and they can shape your future. They can shape your outcome. They could shape your level of expectation, even, man. So we've got to be very, very careful. Be an example to encourage others to use good language. That's what I'm trying to do. You think I forgot how to cuss. I had an auntie, my goodness, she could smoke a cigarette on the and cuss you out. I'm talking compound cuss words, and the ash on the cigarette was scared to fall because that's how bad my auntie was. I mean to tell you, my auntie was tough and she was bad. She didn't play nobody's games. You hear what I'm telling you? And she could cuss you up and down, dog rotten. So I grew up around it too, you know, and I even got to a point where I began to exercise my right to cuss, but I was never comfortable. Maybe it was that whooping my mama put on me when she snatched me out of that car. But even as I got grown to where, I could do what I want to, I still would not even cuss in my mother's presence. No, I mean, I was a grown man, but I still would not cuss in my mother's presence. And I wasn't saved, wasn't even in the church. Okay. So how much more us as Christians. I think that this is a valid conversation, guys. Let me see here. Marisol, he says, please don't cuss me. I won't be in in Jacksonville. We are under the weather here. Don't want to get nobody sick. Hey, Marisol, we're praying for you, sir. And you get well. You do you do what's necessary, man. And we'll see you on the next time. We'll see you on the next time. I'm gonna be up your way as soon as y'all get rid of all of that snow, and we'll get together and break bread, man, and fellowship, man. So you can bank on that, man. You can bank on that, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for Mr. Mirasol Young once again on this morning. Articulation fluency. Yeah, I mean, try it, guys. If you are a cussing Christian, or you just are an individual who just fluent and cussing, uh, just see if you can do it. See if you can change it up for a day. See how long you can go without cussing. In my house, when we were young, the kids were young, we had a scream jar. My kids had gotten to a point where they just wanted to scream when they got mad or whatever, and raise their voice. And so we came up with the concept of a scream jar. And other people, we got the idea from a cuss jar. So whenever a cuss word was said, they would have to put money in the jar. You know what I mean? And so just try it is all I'm saying, folks. Just try it. So yes, it is scripture. Yeah, parent hearing skills. My mama she was supernatural, man. She got sharp ears. I mean to tell you, and she got eyes in the back of her head, man. And I don't know where she got them knees from, but I promise, there's no way she walked down all those stairs. Absolutely no way she walked down all those stairs. No, sir. She teleported and just. I mean to tell you, I could have swore the door was even closed, but next thing you know, I was just being pulled out of that thing, man. She was no joke. Still ain't no joke. Tim, man, he says I have to be. I had my whole way of talking in my new position at work. It was tough for me. Okay. Um, so yeah, and see that's all this post is about. It's not to condemn Tim. It says I'm working on it. And it's not to condemn. It's to make you aware because sometimes you are not even aware. I was re-listening to one of my broadcasts the other day. I do that from time to time to see where I need to improve and things like that. And yeah, that right there is what I said. Yo, you got to stop doing that. What's that? You ask. Now years ago, it was, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. I just had a bad habit. Every other word was, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, and then I'm gonna go down here. You know what I'm saying. And then after that, I'm gonna go do this and you know what I'm saying because this right here, man. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And I was like, dude. And so I became aware as well as conscious of that fact. And so because I was made aware, I was then able to make the necessary adjustments and changes. Okay. And so when someone makes a post like this, first off, a lot of people get offended because they say who he think he is, like his poop don't stink and my poop stank, y'all. Ooh, Lord Jesus. I gotta like incense, candles, and glade. Not glad, but glade, because my poop stank. Okay. And yours do too. So I'm not acting like I'm better than anybody. You see what I'm saying? Because we all have issues. Okay. So we context matters. Help me out there, Mr. Hughes. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for Loki in the building. Context does matter. I just want to get a little enlightenment as to what where you're coming at with that, so that I can understand correctly. Um, because we're talking about cussing Christians and the fact that we can choose to use better vocabulary and things of that nature. Um, so again, there I go right there saying, you see what I'm saying? So until we are made aware. My point is, we do things sometimes and don't even realize how much we do it. And then to the other extreme, we don't realize the effect that it has. Now, here you are, let's just say, and again, I'm not trying to be offensive. Here you are, a cussing Christian, right? And you think, hey, it's cool, and it's not cool. Number one, it's not cool because you just said Jesus redeemed you. You just said Jesus delivered you. You just said, old things have passed away and all things are become new. So why are you still doing the old things? If old things are passed away and all things are become new. See, we and 10 Man just said that he's working on it. Okay. So if a word slips out here or there, he never said he was perfect. Okay. He made it known he was working on it. And until we get to the point where we say, I'm working on it, some of y'all ain't working on it. You think it's cool. And it's not. It's very disgusting if you ask me. It is disgusting. And trust me, it's different. It's different when one slips out. Okay, I've heard people. I've seen it happen. You're sitting there, you're talking, and it slips out. Right. It's different from that than you just being so direct and intentional and methodical with it. It's quiet in Mount Nebo today. All right, I'm gonna get out of y'all's way, man. That's my take on cussing Christians. Are they good people? Everybody's good people, man. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You can be a, well, everybody's good people. As I said earlier in the show, they just made bad decisions, and we are not our decisions. But the part that's difficult, and let me see if I can pull it up. I could have swore I had done a screenshot. Let me see something here. I think I did. Let me share this with you guys. Bada boom, bada bang. How y'all doing on today? Everybody's doing good, I take it? I got a few more videos I'll share with you before I get out of your way. But this here, I want to share with you. This was in response to one of my posts on yesterday. And I want to share it with you real quick. See what you think about it. Okay, I'm gonna pull this on screen and we'll have a quick discussion. Bada boom, bada bang. I believe they should try to live what they preach, but I also understand that they are human. In my opinion, the reason a lot of these preachers are falling and people are losing respect for the position is because they are not honest and live double lives. Not you, Pastor Cussin. I would respect a pastor slash preacher more if they were honest about their struggle. For example, if someone struggles with lying, say it. Saints, God is calling for holiness, but we all have things we wrestle with. I struggle with lying. My daily prayer is that God continues to help me. I can handle that. This would also help others. This would also help others help keep him or her accountable. Instead, they continue in the area they are. Oh man, it's a Seymour part. Let me see if I can pull up the actual thing because she went on to say some really good stuff there. What she went on to say was it was the track record in so many words when they keep on doing the same thing over and over and over. And some of y'all, you can just go down your timeline. You got a cussing demon. I mean, it ain't like it's slipping out. It ain't like you ain't working on it. You getting better at it. You're getting better at it. How can I listen to you on Sunday morning? You want everybody to tune in and press like and everything. But Monday through Friday, you cussing. You cuss more than some folk who help us, Lord. Okay, so folks, let me get out y'all's way, man. I said what I had to say, man. I said what I felt was necessary. We also have to understand, folks, that just because you are offended doesn't give you the right to shut everybody's mouth. I'm just saying, someone responded to my post, but I put it on Face World. So what do you expect? People are entitled to their opinion. The same way I am, they are too. you know. And so, it comes with the territory, man. And just for the record, so everyone will know, whether you believe it or not, this post nor any of the posts that I made on yesterday were meant to be offensive to anyone, and nor were they meant to offend anyone. Okay. uh, because sometimes we try to take the truth and offend folk with it. In other words, what I'm saying is true. So later for your feelings, that's not the direction that I'm going at all. But I certainly want to make you aware how distasteful it is. Maybe not to you, but and if you are a Christian leader, you should be concerned how others perceive your message. I mean, because what's my definition of preaching is a spoken communication of a divine revelation with a view to persuasion that should lead to repentance. A spoken communication, so we should do everything within our power that when we have this communication, that we have effective communication. Effective communication in the sense where we are leading people in the right direction and not becoming a stumbling block. Yes, they hear you because you cussing it. It makes you pay attention. What did he say? You could be sitting here in the lunchroom, minding your business at a separate table, and somebody over there cussing. The first thing you're gonna do is, because you're like, either it's getting hot or something, it's gonna get your attention. It'll get your attention. But it's from the wrong way. It's getting the attention the wrong way. Yeah, getting attention the wrong way. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and check out a couple of these videos here, and then I'll get out of your way. Bada boom, bada bang.
One of the most complicated things that we have come up with as a civilizations in the world is language. Now, a language which had hundreds and thousands of words, you want to reduce everything to one word and you think it's a forward step.
Come on now. He just said a mouthful right there. The English language. How many of you guys sit down and read the Bible? I mean, excuse me, sit down and read the dictionary. Yeah, exactly. Very few, if any. I mean, you'd probably think something was wrong with somebody if they sat down just for daily leisure to read the dictionary. But my point is, there are thousands of words in the dictionary, and we bypass all of those thousands of words and reduce our intelligence and ability to articulate to mere four-letter words. Mm. Have I ever cussed before? Oh yeah. Have I ever cussed since I've been saved? Oh yeah. Yeah, it happened. We've done a lot of things since we were saved, but just because we've done them since we've been saved doesn't mean we continue therein. Okay. Um, if you call me out, just like David, I'll use David as an example. Mirasol said, "The truth and the truth will make you free." Yes, sir. Uh, David, right? King David. Uh, uh, David sinned, and we all know that, right? Everybody knows David sinned. He messed around and he slept with Bathsheba. Then he turned around and tried to cover it up, and his cover up didn't work, so he had her husband put to death. Indirectly, and so David sinned. And then after he completed that sin, he then takes her for his wife to try to, cover up the evidence of sin, which was the child that was getting ready to be born, because she was with child. And so David does this, and time and space goes on. Time and space transpires, and there's a man of God by the name of Nathan, who was aware of what happened. So Nathan uh, said, "I can't hold this any longer because I love David. He's a good guy. He's a good king." And God's got his hand on him. God's got stuff in store for him. See, y'all missed that part right there. You think folk are coming for you just to come for you? No, no. Folks are talking about things so that you can hold your. I can't hold you accountable, but you got to hold yourself accountable. Why? Not because Retro just wants somebody to beat up on. I don't fight. I'm a lover, not a fighter. But because there's so much in store for you. Now, let me go back to Tin Man real quick. He says here, I think he said change my whole, I think what he meant to say was I had to change my whole way of talking. Where? In my new position at work. He's a leader, a boss at work. And the higher you go up in position, more changes one must make. Now you got there, but can you stay there? Some of us can't stay where God has opened doors for us at because we won't make the necessary changes. Everybody that came with you can't go with you. The way you used to think prior to getting to where you are may have to change in order to stay where you are so you can get to where God is calling you to. I'm just saying. So Nathan, he doesn't go to David because he didn't like David or anything. He respected David. When you look at the approach Nathan used, he gave David a parable, and the parable was in such a way that David would understand, where David would feel it. He was able to, sympathize with this within this parable. Okay, sympathize and empathize because David himself was a shepherd. Okay, I want to say the most influential time of David's life was not when he was king, but when he was a little shepherd boy. Y'all don't understand that, but I'm telling you the truth now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, and so anyway, he puts to him the parable about this little man, this man that had a little ewe lamb and treated it like it was a child that lived in the man's home and everything. And then the king had a guest coming in and instead of picking out of the multiple lambs he had, he went and took that man's one little ewe lamb, slaughtered it, and fixed it for dinner. You know what David said? David said that man should be put to death. He was like, that is ridiculous. And Nathan just simply turns and says, thou art the man. Because in essence, that's what David did to Uriah. And when Nathan said, thou art the man, number one, David took responsibility. He had gone on in that sin for a while, but now that the man of God brought, what he did was he brought enlightenment in such a way that David couldn't resist because it came so close to home because David was such a good shepherd. And so David then made some changes. It was the 51st Psalm that was the result of that encounter with Nathan. Against thee and thee only have I sinned and done this wicked in thy sight. And he begins to ask God for forgiveness. Don't get mad at the messenger. Maybe God has a promotion for you as well, but because you continue in sin. Now, I'm not going to say that cussing is sin, but I do believe we can categorize it as a weight that does so easily beset us. Come on now. The Bible says, lay aside every weight and the thing that does so easily beset us. Okay. So you've got to understand, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, that the day and age we find ourselves right now, I asked a question on last night's interview: is the world getting better or is it getting worse? And I want to ask you that same question this morning before I let you go. Is the world getting better or is the world getting worse? If you agree with the latter, then that is indicative. That is proof. Come on, somebody, that time is winding up. The Bible says, when you see these signs, look up because your redemption draweth nigh. Okay, you said I don't get with all that Bible stuff. How old is you? When you got up this morning, did you have any aches or pains? Yeah, yeah. Did you have to go down to the pharmacy and get you some of them readers? Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. Do you run as fast as you used to run when okay, okay. So your body itself is telling you that it's almost time. Come on, somebody. Slim and the Supreme Angel sang a song about death and the beautiful lady. Yeah, she was an entertainer, and everybody around town loved her. And she was in her dressing room, getting ready for her show. And there was a knock at the door. She said, "Come on in, whoever you are." And in walks this big old man draped in dark clothing. And he says, "I'm death." And she said, oh no, I'm not ready to go. He says, "Oh, I didn't come for you, ma'am." He said, "I came for old Bob down the road." He said, "But I heard so much about you, I decided to stop in and see what you was all about." And she said, "Well, Death, just do me a favor. Just give me a warning before you come back." And he said, "I will do." And so the story goes, she goes on and she's performing, she's doing her thing. And years later, by and by, she's in her dressing room just like usual, getting ready for her next big show. And knock, 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 there's a knock on the door. And she says, "Come on in, whoever you are." And in walks Death. And she said, "Oh, Death, how you doing? You must have been in town and just wanted to stop in and see me." He said, "No, this time I come for you." And she said, oh, no, you told me you'd give me a warning, you know. And he said, I did. He said, remember when you had to get the makeup to cover your wrinkles? He said, that was me. He said, remember you had to go and get some eyeglasses because your eyes got dim? He said, that was me. He said, remember when you woke up and he said, that was me. I was trying to tell you I was on my way back. And the moral of the story is we all have to leave here someday. And we come into this world, leaving this world. And all I'm simply trying to say is let us get our stuff together. When your brother or your sister brings conversation or discussion to you that rubs you the wrong way, before you get offended and before you get mad, see if there's any truth in it. Yeah, yeah. Not relative truth, but actual truth. Relative truth is how you deem it to be or not to be truth. Bias, from a bias, and because here's the deal. The best advice I ever received in my life, I didn't know if the gentleman was trying to offend me or help me. Real true story. Best advice I've ever, all the days of my life, best advice I've ever received. I've received some good advice, but that there, because of that advice, it positioned me to then be able to value other advice. So that advice was the best. And he simply said, young man, forget what you think you know and learn what you don't. And I'm sitting here feeling just as dumb as a bag of rocks when he said that to me. I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't know if I should be offended or receptive. But I said, you know what? It's true. It's true. And it revolutionized my life, man. Real talk. Worse. The times are showing us that okay, you're in terms of the question. I got you. See once he said it's getting worse. These times are showing us that good is bad and bad is good. Yeah, that's what the world and even society is trying to tell us that it's just calling good bad and bad good. So I believe that the world is getting worse, and we have scripture to point to that direction as well. How will you be remembered? Keep pressing forward. Yeah, how will you be remembered? I want people to remember me as a loving individual. I want people to remember me as a fair individual. How do you want people to remember you? I want people to remember me as being very encouraging. I want people to remember me as being consistent. I want people to remember me as being authentically genuine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want people to remember me as being God fearing, God loving. I don't want nobody to remember me as being perfect because that I am not, you know. Uh, and so if we want people to remember us in such a way, then we've got to display that kind of lifestyle. We've got to display that kind of attributes, if you will. Okay. So there we go, folks. If I made anybody upset, look at here, man. I still love you. I do. I do. And hopefully one day we'll be able to break bread and we'll talk about it. Um, I'm the kind of person that if it seems like I'm about to be offended by something you said, then I'm gonna reach out. Yeah, I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna if I don't have your number, I'm going, I'll stalk your MySpace page or whatever. I'm gonna try to find a way to reach out to you. Yeah, yeah. And so, because the Bible says, come, let us reason together. Now, I could be mad at you for what you said and what you did. Being mad does not equate to being offended. I can be mad because I don't like it. I don't agree with it. I didn't appreciate it, so on and so forth. But once we have a intelligent conversation, then I might understand your viewpoint. And then I'll have a greater understanding as to why you did what you did. And once I understand why you did what you did, it's no longer as painful because I can understand your viewpoint. Yeah, that's very important. I'll say this in my closing. I guess I am a preacher, so I take multiple closes, so don't hold me to that. However, I said that you know, to be offended is of the devil. Okay, it's a trick of the enemy, and it's his way of robbing us of opportunity. You want to know what opportunity? I'm glad you asked. When we become offended, we have been robbed of the opportunity to grow friendship with the individual we said offended us. And now you've got to ask yourself the question, why is it that the enemy wants to put a wedge between you and this brother? It may be because down the road, there's a purpose for your friendship. You might need them, they might need you, vice versa. I don't know. But the enemy, his plan is to divide and conquer. You ever part ways with somebody only to find out later on that they were actually one of the best things that happened to you? You didn't like them then because they always held you accountable. Every time you got ready to do something stupid and foolish, they were always the one that said, I wouldn't do that if I was you. Oh, you shouldn't do that, bro. And you're like, man, I can't stand this dude. He's such a square, man. Only to find yourself in a situation later on where you said, Dag, if so and so was here, I wouldn't be here right now because he or she was the one that always held me accountable to a higher standard, to a higher, you know. Think about that the next time you are offended by what somebody said. I want to say that when it comes to offense, there's a spark of truth in it. So if they say you got a big nose and now you are offended, truth is that nose is kind of on the bigger side, you know, and truth sometimes really does hurt. It's your boy Retro, man. I want to thank you for joining the Retro Philosophy Show. Let's see if we can leave on a more jovial note. Listen to this.
See, this happened. A nice Catholic girl got married and went. After 3 days, she called her mother and said, Mama, I can't be here with this guy. All the time he's using four-letter words. Then the mother asked her, what kind of four-letter words is he using? She said, he's talking about cook, clean, wash, iron.
We have a community that we have to take care of. We have kids that are depending on us. I call them my scholars, I call them my future leaders, because that's what they are. And I let them know, don't forget about where you were raised. Be proud of where you come from and give back. It seems more family in Riverview Gardens. It would just be wonderful to get some people to get some of those jobs and help us get these scholars where they need to be. There's a new view on the horizon where learning is required.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your man Kodak, the most hated, coming to you live from the Retro Philosophy Show, where I always listen to my man, 50 Grand, Pastor Retro. You know what it is.
Yo, what up? This is Marvin Gibson, aka Big Gip, and you are now tuned in to the Retro Philosophy Show.
Shout out to Retro Philosophy Show. This is your boy Sammy Medas. So follow him. You don't know. Boom. Boom. Cool.
You already know what it is. It's your homegirl, Lottie Dottie. I'm in the building hanging out with Retro, and he ain't never lying.
On my mama, on my hood, I look like, oh Lord, I look good. Touch my swag. Yes, sir. I wish you would. On my mama. Yeah. Oh, now. Yeah.
for the ratchet people. On my mama, on my hood, I look fly, I look good. Somebody say come on, tell them. On my mama, on my hood, I look fly, I look good. And I still look good. And I still look good. And I still look good.
One's conversation is an indicator of their level of maturity. Okay? But the proof is in the fruit that we bear. In other words, you and I could sit here and we can have a very intelligent conversation. Okay? And it could be spot on. And you say, wow, that was pretty deep. You know, Pastor, he's so mature in the things of God. But then I leave here and I don't talked about. So I think we could throw the text out there having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. So let's bring it on home a little closer. If you're going to talk about it, then you ought to be about it.
I only debate with my equals. All others I teach.
Yeah, that's true. Watch out for the people who can pinpoint everything that's wrong about you. But when it comes to correcting themselves, the pen don't work. Listen to me. Talk that talk, George. Real recognize real, and the fake don't fly together. You got to stay prayed up because it's too real out here. Watch the people in your circle. Never eat with the people you didn't start with, and never ride with the people you didn't walk with. Stay true and stick to your crew. Now that's big dog talk. Big speaker.
You said you was a street nigga. I didn't know you had time for church.
Yes, I'm a street nigga.
So
it doesn't matter.
Okay, was your church outside on the streets, or where was this church at?
No, my church was in the hood.
Right.
Don't think just because people grew up in the streets, they didn't go to church. When we came up, every street family went to church because they needed God more than anything.
Right.
So don't think that, I don't know, you might not know because you wasn't born in the streets.
No,
don't think that
I was at
people
home.
in the streets didn't go to church.
When a person doesn't like you, they team up with another person that doesn't like you. And before you know it, there's a whole slew of people that hate you. But here's the thing, those people, they don't even like each other. They're only gathered because of you. See how powerful you are?
Plug in. It's cold out this mug, man, so everybody be on their way. This in Arizona right now.
Say, man, you know what it is, man. Special guest in the
Now,
building.
only he ride two
Much love and respect to my man Retro stopping through, y'all.
That's what I'm talking about.
Y'all know what to do.
Big Sell. You still keeping it 100.
Good. And they're off. Brotherhood, baby. Bottle tank, burn the tank. That's what you're supposed to do. Buy a tank, burn the tank. And your brothers come through your state. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. Now, my turn to get back to the crib.